Hey everybody, so we are going to be actually interviewing each other for the next 2 weeks. So we hope you enjoy as I interview Artina this week. Okay, so we started our Elevate series, at least the interview portion, in the beginning of 2020, and we've had some really great guests, but we decided, we should interview each other and just let our audience, know like who we are. And so I am interviewing Artina today. So Artina, welcome to the McCain Duo Elevate
Thank you,
show.
Martin. I'm so glad to be on the McCain Duo show.
Yeah, it's a long list.
It is a long list. And we've had some really good people, so I'm glad that we decided we should be on the list too.
Definitely. So you've had a lot of great things happening going on in your career. An album that was just released about a month ago, Heritage. Could you talk about this album? Like, let our audience know, why did you want to record it, and like what's on the album?
Sure. Well, I have an album. It's called Heritage. It's a collection of music by American composers. And I actually started the recording project far before COVID. I mean, you know this, and it just sort of stalled out because I guess I was lazy and I didn't really go through the production process. And so I recorded it and I even had it mastered, and then it just sort of sat there. I wanted to record because at the time I was really interested in American music. And so I was already playing some of this music around. And then one of my colleagues, at the institution I was working at, he wrote a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So then that was also an opportunity for me to record his music. And I just, at the time, hadn't really played a lot of American music. I know I'm kind of identified, for those who know me, I do a lot of Black composer stuff, but, we're both Black Americans, and American music is not really in the standard canon either. Right. Mm-hmm. So that was sort of where I started, just like with the music of America, which actually included people of color, but it wasn't sort of like, I need to include people of color. It's just like, don't everybody need to include people of color? So I just did it, and it sat there for a while. It includes some spirituals, because my faith and Christianity is really important to me. So one of them is The Amazing Grace. I actually, what do you call it when you arrange? I arranged it. See, I don't arrange enough, so I'm like, well, I wrote something, I put something on paper. I arranged it. My grandmother had recently passed at the time, so that was a way for me to pay tribute to her. And then also I had the music by my colleague, Ken Metz at the time, works by Coleridge Taylor Perkinson, George Walker, who I had done my dissertation on. So I wanted to record something because I spent all this time sort of interviewing him and getting to know some of his family members. So I wanted to do that. And that's where I recorded it. It just seemed like fun. I'm not nearly as organized in my recording as Martin is. So,
so like with your... with the whole process, for somebody who's never recorded an album before, can you tell our audience, like, what was that process like going into the studio and, going through the editing process, mixing, mastering? Like, were you very hands-on, or like?
No, because I don't know nothing about this. I mean, I'm really fortunate because, at the time, the institution, I got the studio for free.
Wow,
and
that's
my
amazing.
Recording engineer, Jim Waller, you're amazing.
Oh yeah.
He spent a lot of time with me. I mean, he had done recordings for really big artists, and he just helped me. I didn't really know what I was doing, honestly. So I don't really have anything to say. I'm definitely not hands-on because I didn't know where my hands were supposed to be. So I think Jim really walked me through that process, and he was really instrumental in making it a very solid project. And the instrument was already great. So, I mean, I'm spoiled. I'm sure other people have to work really hard for this. And I'll be sure to ask you this question in your interview.
So, you also, recently became a Yamaha artist, which is huge. Like, congratulations with that. Why Yamaha? It seems like all pianists want to play like Steinways.
Ooh,
why? What do you like about Yamaha?
Good. Do we need a poll? This is a dirty conversation. I mean, to me, all pianos are different. So,
Right.
whether it's a Yamaha, a Steinway, a Chickering, any Kawai, they're all a little bit different. And the piano technician really is the person who kind of brings the life to the instrument. So, for me, Yamaha was there, available, and really easy to work with. So it just seemed like a good choice.
That seems like that's really important. Just the relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
They also have, the Disclavier. They have the technology, and so that was something that I kind of felt like was interesting too. So yeah, again, I'm not as well thought out of these things as Martin is. So it was just an easy partnership for me to have. So that's fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can speak from experience because I partner with different companies, and like that relationship is really important. And so that's awesome. Can you talk about the Disclavier? Like, what have you done with that so far, especially in the times of the pandemic? Seems like that technology is really important. It's like, what are you doing with that?
Yeah, so the Disclavier, so people who don't know, it's an instrument where you're playing, and then that sound is broadcast to, wherever the other location is.
Wow.
So it's like speaking through the internet. Again, I'm really bad at the language with all these things. So I'm sure someone who, with the audio technology language, could explain it a little bit better. But basically, you're playing, and if I'm, communicating with somebody in South Carolina, they're hearing the sound, the real sound coming out of their Disclavier. So that's been nice because, of course, Zoom and other media platforms sort of distort sound. You don't really hear it quite the same. So that's an opportunity for you to hear as close to real live sound that you can. So that's been great because we've been able to do some master classes and, talk with students, and yeah, it's been really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And especially, I guess you can see like the keyboard moving at the same time.
Yeah.
Like when someone is in like a different country.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if they're going to come up with technology like that for trombone. I don't know how that would work.
That would be wild.
Yeah. But like maybe like 3021. Like we'll have that technology. Won't be here though. But that's amazing. Like, what are some things that you're doing just staying productive? And we know that you have an extremely busy schedule. You're like a coordinator of a piano area, and like you're still very active. Like very fortunate. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't working right now, but it seems like like you're keeping busy. Like what are some other things that like you have going on?
Well, I'm trying to actually not be so busy. I'm very fortunate. Again, some of the things we talk about in our other series, which you should all go check out, is, relationship building. I'm very fortunate and blessed to have a lot of relationships. So I think when you do have those relationships, when times are hard, not even just in your personal life, but in the world in this case, they're there for you, right? And I think that's been the key to being productive and having different opportunities, and not just the relationships, because I'm sure there's plenty of people who had great relationships and they're still not out of work, and I don't want to slight that. But I think it's also sort of being able to reinvent yourself and do new things too. So whatever that might look like for one person, maybe that's teaching. I know that a lot of people who were performing, especially in the orchestra world, are like suddenly teaching.
Right.
And, so that's some way they had to pivot. So we all have to pivot in different ways. And so I'm just really fortunate to have had a lot of different relationships that I could kind of call on, and I had to pivot too because I'm not good at the whole recording thing. I can't say I'm super passionate about it, but it's something that you have to do. I mean, how else are you going to get your stuff out there? So that's been a way I've had to pivot and really just be more methodical about practicing and then actually recording and then actually putting it out there.
Yeah, that's really some great stuff. So back to like relationships, like you're really good at relationship building. Like what does that mean for somebody like they might not know, like I might feel weird just talking to somebody I don't know, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I think I'm an overachiever. I don't think
that's true.
I don't know if I need all the relationships I have. Some of y'all on the X list, just letting you know. But I think just spending time with people, that's how you build the relationship. So, that could look like different ways, whatever your communities are. You could have a faith community that you want to spend time with. You could have ethnic community or cultural community that you want to spend time with. You can have a career and, whatever your instrument is, if that's where you go. So, there's lots of different opportunities, right? Depending on how you identify and the things that are important to you. Right. So that's usually what I do, right? I want to connect with people in my faith community. I want to connect with people who are also sharing my cultural background. I also want to connect with people in my career, in my field. So when you start there, it's easy to sort of find people who have those similar interests, and then you find some new communities too, and other people that are interested in same things you are. So
yeah, no, that's really great information as well. I know everything about you, obviously, but it's just for the most part. But it's just good to hear this come out as well. Let's change it up a little bit because everyone who follows you knows that you're a pianist, you're a teacher. Like, what are some things away from music that you enjoy? What are your hobbies?
Well, Martin, you're much better at hobbies than I. I need to get some hobbies. Well, I really like tea, so I'm a tea collector. I really like telenovelas. Okay, so I really like watching telenovelas.
Why is that?
So random. Because the acting is just so over the top. I just love it. Every bit of it just makes me happy. I have a hard day. It's like, turn off email, watch telenovela. It will make you happy. So I like doing that. And I've always, I guess, a hobby that I've really never fully realized, the ability that I'd like to realize. I always had an interest in languages. So when I was a kid, I would actually back in the day, they had the little books in the library, learn Korean, learn Spanish. I would get all of those books. And they had the pictures, especially, age appropriate, whatever the word was for cat and dog and stuff. So I always had sort of a fascination with language. And that's something that I actually wanted to, I don't know if you know this, I wanted to minor in Spanish.
I remember you saying that.
And I wanted to get a language degree, but I didn't do that. So I've always just sort of had this, secret love of language. So I'm from Texas, so telenovelas seems like a natural thing that we were always sort of exposed to on TV, pre-cable and all that stuff. So that's one of my hobbies. I like walking and working out. I like being outside. If we can get to a beach and a mountain, that would be really good because I like pretty nature things. What else do I like? I like hanging out with my friends who are non-musicians.
Yes.
I like
very important.
The fact that we don't have to have conversations about music, that just sort of detox and do that. So those are a few things.
How did you get into tea?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I think, we all grew up drinking that brown Kool-Aid.
Oh, gosh. Ugh.
And then, as we traveled more, especially I think when we went to Hong Kong and Asia and different places, and they had the little leaves, and I don't think I ever seen the leaves. So then I started seeing the leaves, and I thought, oh, well, let's try this leaf and this leaf. And I think it just went from there.
No, I mean, everyone knows I love coffee, but I love a great tea. And I think after we were making those trips, I was realizing wow, we're doing this all kind of wrong.
Right. No offense to our parents, but that brown Kool-Aid, that was not tea. I don't know what that was, that powder, but yes.
Well, this has been awesome, Artina.
Thanks, Martin.
This is funny, us interviewing each other. But of course, everyone knows where to find us on McCain Duo. But what about Artina specifically? Where can they find you? What are your handles and your website?
My handles, thanks to Martin, are Artina McCain. He wants me to be Artina Piano, but I just haven't changed it. So I'm Artina McCain on Instagram, mostly where you can find me. I also hang out on Facebook occasionally when there are not divisive seasons, so I'm not always there. But Instagram and Facebook, and then my website is also artinamccain.com.
Awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this interview, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.